Jack Reacher, the movie or the character? The movie is crime thriller, but it has tremendous, people are surprised by the amount of wit and laughs that it has in it. It has, very unique, cool kind of analog action, and he's an analog character in a digital age, so he's very smart. The picture has lots of twists and turns, and it's just a lot of fun, very entertaining. You know what, I've read all the books, so I felt that I knew the character quite well. And Chris McQuarrie, look, he's an incredible screenwriter and really amazing film director. So, and it's shot in very much of a classic sense. But of course, we love talking about character and stories. We spent a lot of time talking about it throughout. Man, you're right. I mean, when he came on set, I love Bobby. He's an amazing actor, and it was, I can't believe that it was that many years ago that we made a film together, and we hadn't gone again. So when he was on set, it was really like no time had passed. No, that's how it was written. It's very, you have the tension there, but a very unique relationship. And it's also really part of who Reacher is. Fun, fast, dangerous, fun.
Oh, Helen Rodin, I love Helen Rodin because she's a lawyer, but she's a lawyer who's quite up against it. She's not as in control as she'd like to be. She comes upon a case, she takes it because she wants to fight her father, who's the district attorney. Her firm won't give her any money to take it. No one wants her to take it, and she decides to go after it with all she's got, and she needs a private investigator to help her, and she finds Jack Reacher. And he's the man who doesn't want to be found, so there begins this kind of wonderful double act, really, between them, where she's just sort of infuriated, puzzled, charmed, delighted, thinks this man's a kind of total lunatic, and thinks he's the most brilliant thing she's ever met. So I think too often we see a side of the law that's untouchable, that they're always in control, they're always on top of their game. And I think that from talking to a number of lawyers, sometimes you feel you haven't got the evidence you need, sometimes you don't know how to pitch the case. And I think she's taking a very unpopular case. She's chosen to defend a man who's committed an atrocious crime because she believes in justice. She believes that everyone deserves a fair trial. And it's a hard case to convince people of, and she's harassed and not totally on sure ground. Well, I think Tom and I started watching a lot of films like The Thomas Crown Affair or 3 Days of the Condor or even Notorious, Hitchcock films, and it was that sort of witty relationship between a man and a woman who are mutually attracted to each other but also a bit baffled by one another, and they're too busy, they're too professional to really get it together, but there's admiration there and fondness, and I think that's what really puts chemistry into something. I've started to see that sort of sex scenes come when there isn't any chemistry, and if you have got chemistry you kind of don't need to sell it by having a couple get together in a way. I've started to think differently.
Yeah, well, he's a modern version of the old mythic wanderer. He's been around forever, wanders the earth, does right where he can, moves from place to place, rides off into the sunset. I know, this is the A-team, and I'm glad it took so long because it meant that we got the best, and they really are. I mean, together they're fantastic. McQuarrie, we already know, is a great writer. His script was fantastic. It attracted Tom Cruise to the project. McQuarrie directed in what is effectively his debut, but you would not know it. It's so well done. Well, I always knew we would never get a facsimile of Reacher physically because there are no such actors. There never has been in the whole history of Hollywood. There has never been an actor 6'5" and weighing 20 stone. So I knew it was going to be not exactly the same physically, so what I wanted was the best technical ability as an actor to bring out what's inside Reacher. And if you think about who can do that, who's got the sympathy for the genre, who knows his stuff like that, it had to be Cruise. He's the only one who could do it. So when he signed on, I was thrilled. It was in the bag at that point. I knew that it was going to be great. I know, he really is the on-field captain of the whole thing. And ultimately what surprised me at the end was not how different he is from Reacher, but actually how the same he is. You know, Reacher gets it done or dies trying, and so does Cruise. His work ethic is phenomenal, his commitment is amazing. He will get it done, and I think you can see that all on the screen. You know, the honest answer is, yeah, I dreamt it. Did I expect it to happen? I didn't expect it, but, you know, here it is, and it's fantastic.
His vision, you know, he wrote it, his vision, Chris's vision, and they've been working, and it's kind of a co-vision, I think, with Cruise. Cruise is in on everything. He works on 3 different units at once. And then he gets up in the morning, does exercise. You know, I said, you know what a nap is? My father said it was an equal strain on all parts, a nap. My dad said, but he doesn't take a nap. He would like to, but he doesn't. No, I was 20 pounds overweight. I was probably the white whale.
Yes, Detective Emerson is a Pittsburgh detective who is the first man on the scene of the crime after a sniper attack in which 5 people are shot dead. It soon becomes clear that it's a military sniper, and Tom plays Jack Reacher, who is an ex-military investigator, so he's best placed to track the man down. So we team up for a time to do just that. They're sort of cut from the same cloth. There's a level of intensity, there's a level of unreadability about both characters, and they do a lot of circling each other, which is something I really enjoyed playing. The script was my first interaction with it at all, and then I read one shot on which our film, Jack Reacher, is based, and I could see why 60 million of these books have been sold, and you know, why people are excited that there are 17 books. It was just incredible because Usual Suspects is one of my favorite films, and so you know, to get to speak his dialogue and be directed by him was, you know, I would say it wasn't even a dream come true, because I don't think I dared to dream that, so it was a real privilege. He's a filmmaker. He really knows how to put movies together, and he knows how to put a performance together. And for me as an actor, he was just exemplary. His work ethic, his enthusiasm for the material, and for just being on a movie set. I mean, he's been doing this for over 30 years, and he's retained that. So if I can come 50% close to what he's managed, I'll be doing well. She has a kind of dignity to her that is really given a nice showcase in this film, and she does feel like one of those 40s kind of movie stars in a sense, which I guess is fairly unique today. I think they should expect, and hopefully anyway, a film that you know, satisfies anyone who likes good action, but also who likes to, you know, not check their brain at the door when they're watching a movie. I mean, it really, you know, unlike The Usual Suspects, it really makes you think, and you really have to follow it.
I love the idea that he felt like the man with no name, but he existed in a modern world in a very real way. Yes, Lee was involved in the process very early on. It was very important to us that he felt protected, and he felt like we were honoring his work, and he was there right from the beginning. It was really great. Well, Don Granger and I went and sat down with Lee in New York, had dinner with him, and there was a very long, very careful speech that was supposed to ease Lee into that idea, because obviously it was very different than he looks in the book. And Lee could quite obviously tell where we were going long before we even brought the name up, and he was sort of nodding like this, almost like, yeah, get to it. And when we finally got to the end, he said, look, why wouldn't I want the biggest movie star in the world to play my character? I mean, to me, the Tom that I know personally is very similar to the Reacher in the books. He's very laid back, very charming, very affable, very cool under pressure, and I knew I had something in because I had sort of an inside hook on who Tom was as a person, that people were going to see a performance from him that they hadn't seen before. It was something more akin to himself. You name it, he's there. He's ready to do it. You know, he brings to the project the experience of working with some of the greatest filmmakers of the 20th century. And because he is such a student of film, he learns from them and he carries that knowledge and brings it with him as a producer as well. So you're not just making a film, you're going to film school with some of the greatest filmmakers still living.